Hey, Dash fam. Hey, I'm coming to you today. I've been told or asked, whatever you want to call it, by several people to kind of share my story a little bit. So I'll try to make this as fast as I can, just a few minutes. I know everybody likes to watch short videos, but sometimes they're worth to watch a little bit longer. So I'm just going to give you a real quick rundown of some of the things that have happened in my life from early age up till about now, and I'm almost 50. But the reason I'm going to do that is because there's some things that happen in this life that you can't control, and most of it you can't control. There's only a couple things you can actually control, and they all have to do with you. Your feelings and your words and those type of things are all you can really control, because you can't control people, you can't control things, you can't control events. It's not in your power to do so. So right now, I just want to tell you a little bit real quick about me, about what's happened. I grew up really, really good with a great family. We weren't rich, we weren't poor. We made it. I grew up in the Aspen, Colorado area, around there. So it was a great place to grow up. It was difficult at times because there wasn't always a lot of money there. It's very expensive to grow up there, but I had a great mom and dad. It was actually my adopted mom and my stepdad. My adopted father was not the best. He was fairly abusive, not a real nice man. Didn't really want my sister or me, and kind of treated us that way. So I finally got away from that, went back to my mom and my stepdad, who were amazing. Had a normal life from that point on, and grew up good, and had a good time in school. I had a great time in high school. I was an athlete in 3 or 4 different sports. Did really well, excelled in those, and beyond high school with them, with 2 of them. I went on a church mission. I went to Jamaica. I spent some good time there, about a couple years, and had just a phenomenal time there as well. But while I was on my mission, my mother had passed from breast cancer. So that kind of started a series of downward spiral things, right? But I've always been told that I always have a smile on my face, that I'm always looking forward to, the next big thing and the next nice thing, and everybody always very optimistic, and I'm never a pessimist. And that's a choice. That's a choice I've always had my whole life. I've always been that way my whole life. So something that's either been ingrained in me or something I learned as a young age. But there still have been times in my life that I thought the other way. And so once I got home, I had a hard time kind of getting back in and assimilating to the normal life. Because when you're on a mission, you're doing nothing but talking to people about, church, things like that. So when I got back, and my mother wasn't here, who was my rock and my best friend, it was very difficult for me to kind of grasp what I was going to do. So, take a few years, get married, got a couple kids. We get divorced, and we get divorced because I ended up being an alcoholic. I ended up drinking quite a bit, and it was not good. It was not a good a good thing for me to be a part of. And so that marriage ended up splitting, and like any marriage, we worked out visitations, we did all that. But shortly after that, I had gotten into a fight. Long story short, I ended up getting an 11-year prison sentence in Colorado. Ended up doing 5. But during that time, a lot of things happen to you in prison. A lot of things go on. Sometimes it's just fine. Other times it's pretty nasty. So it is what it is. You get through it, you come out, and hopefully you're a better person and not a worse person. But it goes both ways. But while I was in there, somebody made a choice for me, and something that I couldn't control, and that was my ex. She would not let me talk to my kids on the phone. I wrote every week when I was gone. So being gone for 5 years, when I came back, they wanted nothing to do with me. Now all they do, because it's continued on with that, is all they do is call me names and are just kind of nasty to me. They say that I played the victim, things like that. And funny thing is anybody that knows me knows that's the farthest thing from the world that I would ever do. I win. That's the way it is. I'm going to win in just about everything that I do. And if I don't, I'm going to try it again until I do. that's just part of life. That's what I choose to do. I choose to win. I choose not to be stomped on. I choose not to be, thrown out and not being my best at everything that I can. So with that, I've kind of dealt with, my kids not being in my life now for a long time. I got two, a son and a daughter, and they're both great kids. But with somebody else's power and somebody else's little brainwashing ideas or things, whatever, they now don't talk to me. So I had to end up dealing with that. And then I get married again to the person that I'm with now. The best person in the world, the one that is my one and only for sure. And we get together, and I get cancer right away. In fact, it was 3 days before our wedding. I was diagnosed with a carcinoid tumor, and we got the letter from our oncologist that it's a stage 4, incurable. And it comes only through Viking DNA, and that's where they find it. And lucky me, it was a super rare form, and I've got it. So we had a lot of things go wrong. We had a business that was doing really well in solar, and I had one before that, and they both kind of got shut down because of these companies and states shutting down solar, and then it ends up hurting your business. You travel to another state and start another solar company, and the same thing happens. So this time I just had we had some bigger issues. Sales crews weren't happening, and people that were supposed to be running the sales crew kind of let it roll. Some other internal issues. So anyways, that ends up kind of falling apart, and I start fighting basically for my life and going through a nuclear chemo. It's a brand new chemo that's only for carcinoid tumor. And then, here just recently, my father had passed. My adopted father passed years ago when I was about 20, when my mother, as I said, died when I was about 19. I guess my father I was about 23. And now my father now, who is my stepdad, but was my father to me, he just passed in Thanksgiving. And all from cancer, right? So everybody's had to deal with cancer, and my mother and father both have died from that. I've been able to fight it off. We've been able to get on remission. I'll always have it. It's one that they will never be able to get rid of. They can't kill it. They can't get it out of my body. It's not a surgery where you can just go in and take it. But they can keep it at bay right now. So that allows us to at least live, and do some things. So like always, I choose to smile and get through it and do what I need to. So those of you that are still here, there's a lot more to my life, but I just want you to understand that, like everybody, things happen, and life just happens. Life will kick you in the face and drop you to your knees if you let it. And the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to get kicked in the teeth. You're going to get dropped to the knees. You're going to get your ass kicked several times. If you think you're just going to go through life and have, these wonderful times of never having any problems, you're fooling yourself. Something's going to happen. The biggest thing is you get off your knees when you get kicked down, because life will hold you there, and it'll suffocate you, and it'll keep you down. But that's because we let our minds keep us there. You can do and accomplish anything that you want. We've heard it a million times, right? Everybody's heard it a million times, that what you think you become, right? And some people go really far with that, but the main thing is that like attracts like, and you can go into the law of attraction. You can go into a lot of things with that. But the simple matter is do a little test with yourself. If you've been in a position right now where you've been kind of down, you've been kind of upset, things have happened, and there's a whole whirlwind of things going on, which we still have to this day in our family as well. Make a conscious effort for about 2 weeks, that every day that you have to work on being positive, on just smiling. You may not be able to control all the thoughts in your head. You still may have some negative thoughts that run through your head. You still may run into those times when you just feel terrible, and that's okay. Accept it that it happens. But take that time to stop what you're doing and interrupt those bad feelings, those bad thoughts, whatever you're getting, and remember to smile and start thinking about the good things and be grateful for all the things that you do have, whether it's even if it's a shirt, a car, shoes, whatever, things that a lot of people in this world don't have. But start being grateful, start being thankful, and start smiling a ton. Do that for a couple weeks, and you'll see how quickly your life will change. You'll see how quickly your attitude changes, and the hopelessness or the despair that you might have in your heart and in your head will go away. It's amazing how much light you can bring into your life just by smiling and just by trying to be happy. Even though bad things are happening, you can still be happy. Even if you got cancer like I did and still do, but I choose to be happy. It's the one thing that I can choose. It's the one thing that I can control. I can control how I react to anything. Whether I'm going to be mad, whether I'm going to be sad, whether I'm going to let it just completely and totally and utterly destroy me. And the things that have happened with my kids absolutely at one point utterly destroyed me, knowing that, hey, they're not going to talk to me forever because they've been poisoned by certain stories that everybody else in the world in my life knows don't happen. It didn't happen. And if they did, back then we were both a couple of massive drunks, and some of those things may have happened. That's right. But, been away from it since 2006 when I did go into prison, and I made that decision then that I wouldn't touch it again, and made that decision I wouldn't do it at all. So I can make those decisions. You can make those decisions. Don't let life keep you down. Don't let it keep you down. And every day may be a damn struggle. It may be tough. But that's the one thing you have to do. You've got to stay strong. You've got to, every day, you've got to commit to a new happy day. You really do. That's why some people will stand up and every morning and they'll have their little rituals and say, I'm glad to be alive. I'm glad to be this. I'm grateful for whatever. And they sit out and let the new day sun hit them in the face. And whatever it is, whatever rituals that you might have that will help you to get you into that mindset, do it. Whatever it is, do it. It's just not worth the time. Forget about the past. If it happened 2 minutes ago, it's gone. This video is now 12 minutes, and everything that's already done is in the past. Doesn't matter. Don't bring your past forward into your present, because you will screw up your future. That is the absolute best way in the world to repeat the things that have happened in the past, is by continually living with them, keeping them in your heart, talking about them, worrying about them, having regret about them, whatever the case may be. Forget about it. It's back there. It's in the past. Leave it where it's supposed to be. Acknowledge that it's there. Acknowledge that it happened. Move on, and get up every day with a new smile for the day and a new gratefulness to be alive and to be able to go out and reach those dreams. And you know what? We're all here. We all have the ability to be millionaires, to be happy, to do whatever we want. Maybe you don't want to be a millionaire. Maybe you want to be a billionaire. Maybe you just want to be enough to pay your bills. Whatever the case is, your success is determined by yourself on what you feel is successful. It can be money or it can be family, and it's wonderful however you feel. But go get it. Don't let the world or people in this world that might be narcissistic and like to see you stay back and like to hurt you and kind of passive aggressive junk that hurts you and keeps you back. Don't listen to it. The only person you should listen to is you, and you are the only person that's listening to you every minute of the day, 24 hours a day, and you are listening. So the things that you're saying to yourself every day are going to depend on what happens to you the next day, the next day, and the next day. So if you don't start telling yourself the right things, then those things in life that can bring you down and hold you down will continue to happen. So bring some happiness into your life, guys. I'm only bringing this out because I have several people that have talked to me. Like I said, my wife and I do counseling, and we run into this quite a bit with some people, and it's hard for them to stay happy. It's hard for them to forget about the bad things that have happened in their lives. and they harbor that and they hold on to it. So this is already a long video. I hope some of it has helped. I know I've ranted a little bit, but it will get you to know me a little bit more as I continue to build this channel. If you liked it, press the like button, pass it on to friends so that they can subscribe. Do some comments if you want. I'd love to hear from you. If there are comments, I do try to reply back and hear a conversation if I can, if somebody does that. But hope everybody's doing well. We'll talk to you soon. Shaka out.